Hey everybody, it's Brian.
Jason.
And this is the perfect. I fucked up
Dude, that's
already.
hilarious.
Perfectly Screwed Podcast, episode 54. You know, me and Jason were just speaking. Because this is part 2, actually. If you've not heard episode 53, please go back to episode 53, because this is part 2 of a continuing that we're going to keep talking about. But me and Jason were just talking, and I was just saying we didn't explain the drinking game in episode 53, so I'm going to go over it real quick. If I fuck up a word, any way, shape, or form, like I just did, you must take a shot. That is the rules. As long as you're not driving or somewhere where you can't take a shot. If you're at home relaxing or you happen to be a college student, please feel free to take a shot every time I fuck up. Now, episode 53, I did not have any. That's, I think, the first episode where I have not fucked up any.
I wonder if there's a correlation to we never mentioned the drinking game and you didn't fuck up.
Yeah, I know. The moment go to mention
it was on our mind to mention it, and you literally fucked up.
I fucked up
the name of our podcast.
The name of the podcast that I've said now 54 fucking times. Well, total, if you want to say it, we've also done specials and interviews, so this is actually episode 60 something. So we've done 60-some episodes that I've said that name.
Yeah, not to mention, 5-6 episodes that just got wiped off the face of the earth.
So I've said this name probably 80 times. And this is the first time I've never said perfectly right. And that's an easy word.
It's a good start to the show. You go, everybody take your shot.
God knows I am.
Get loose. Get ready. Just open your mind a little bit. That's all we're asking.
Well, let me explain something.
Open up.
I've told you before, I think it's unfair that they're drinking and I'm not, since I'm the one causing them to drink. So, I have a Long Island iced tea right here.
Yes, he does.
And I am going to now drink some of it because I fucked up that word. So, I'm going to participate with you guys in this episode. So, here we go.
Bottoms up. You're a man of your word.
God, that is rough as shit. Oh, it's good though. It does taste like...
Good though. Mind if I have some more?
Yeah, pretty good though. Okay.
So yeah, part 2. What are we?
Part 2. We're on the pyramids, and I want to jump back into it because if we don't get into it, and we keep talking bullshit like we normally do, we're never going to get through this.
You're dicking off.
So we were talking about a little recap: the pyramids being a battery, and we were focusing on Giza. And
so you were also talking when we were off air. Mm-hmm. What were the other? Like there's a pyramid in Bosnia.
There's pyramids in every place in the earth.
What was the other?
Except for North America.
I think there was an Iraqi one.
Yeah, there's Iraqi.
Teotihuacan in Mexico. But you said that now there's evidence that all of these pyramids also might be batteries, saltwater batteries.
Well, scientists have now proven that the Great Pyramid of Giza can and does concentrate electromagnetic energy in its chambers underneath of it and at its base.
Great save on the energy right there. Bro.
Yeah, I know. I almost fucked up again. Experts are still working to solve the mysteries of the pyramids. They believe it was built for a tomb for Pharaoh Khufu, also known as Cheops, but since Khufu has never been found, they don't know if Khufu was even real.
Right.
And since they've never found a body in the pyramid, it's highly doubtful that that's what it was for.
Literally some European explorer in the 1800s went to the Great Pyramid, couldn't find anything else, so he took a Sharpie out, wrote Khufu, and then that's why we think it's Khufu. And that's the true story.
So, ITMO University in the Russian city of St. Petersburg, they created a model of the pyramids, a smaller model, clearly, to measure the electromagnetic net. There we go, number 2 shot.
Here we go.
God damn it.
Electromagnetic.
Yeah.
Something.
Electromac and cheese.
Samir not going to work here anymore anyway.
God damn, that's rough. So, they built this to see the electromagnetic response of the pyramid. The model was used to see how wave energy is scattered or absorbed by the pyramid. The group tested the interaction with waves of different resonant lengths, ranging from 200 to 600. The energy can be reached in the pyramid on a nanoscale size. Oh, God, I'm fucking up left and right.
Was that Jack
Researchers.
Reacher?
Yeah, Jack Reacher. Researchers. Okay. I'm not taking a shot that time. Fuck this, because I'll drink this
It
whole
was
Long
too
Island.
soon.
Yeah. You can take a shot. I'm
Go
not.
ahead, guys.
Researchers say the same science can be used to create more efficient sensors and solar cells. So, they scaled down the pyramid,
Yeah.
they measured it, and they know for a fact now
It's creating a charge.
that it absorbs and dissipates energy at the same time. Not only does it create the charge, it absorbs the charge, stores it like a huge battery, as we were saying,
and
dissipates
distributes
it from the top of the pyramid.
Wow.
Yeah. Now, this study was actually published in Applied Physics. And it concludes that the pyramidal objects located at the substrate and support multiple resonances. So not only that, they support multiple frequencies of electricity. The same way a cell tower does.
Right. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
They suppress and reflect. Oh my God. I'm done. Jesus Christ. That's 4 in a fucking row, dude. I haven't got 6 minutes into this damn episode. I fucked up 7 times. Jesus Christ. Fuck me. Anyways,
for all the kids listening out there, guys, this is serious. No,
there should be no kids
Hold on,
listening
I'm
to
trying to be
this shit.
serious. I'm trying to
Okay.
be serious. Just for your safety. For your safety, because at night it gets dangerous. So make sure on your bicycles you go and check and make sure all your reflectors are in proper working order. Please,
Oh,
thank you.
yes.
Good.
Okay, it suppresses and reflects electromagnetic waves. In the Earth conditions, this could be used for controlling and producing radio waves. So,
Wow.
not only was it producing electricity, it was producing basically what you would call a Wi-Fi or cell phone signal.
These people could have been walking around with cell phones.
Yeah,
Literally.
yeah,
And they
or
probably
radios.
were.
Yeah. Yeah, basically that's what I wanted to say this. But,
Like, and honestly, it's not that fucking hard to think about. Listen, we have this technology. We have these computers and tablets and cell phones, right? And it's incredible. It really freaking is. All the information that you could possibly want is in the palm of your hand. Mm-hmm. Okay? But it's also not that far-fetched to see that it could all be snatched away, dude. In the blink of an eye. Anything. Solar flare. Asteroid. Fucking, just because we're goddamn stupid, we could blow each other up with nuclear bombs. I mean, it could all be taken away just like that, right?
mm-hmm.
Inevitably, somebody, fuck me and you, being the first two, what would we do? We would grab a piece of paper and a pencil, and we could we would write it down, how we were just living, what just happened, you know what I mean? And as civilization resets, and it starts to work its way back, and then all of a sudden, 1,000 years from now, somebody fucking finds a time capsule be buried in your backyard. You know what I mean? Just for some fucking odd reason, nobody knows why. And they start reading the shit. It sounds like magic. It sounds like science fiction. You know what I'm saying? But it's not. It was real.
Well, this is the other problem. They couldn't even read it because they would have to interpret the English language the way they interpret it.
Right.
Because again,
Exactly.
the hieroglyphs
Yep.
from the old kingdom of
Yeah,
Egypt.
we would have to try to come up with a way to write it. How could we write this where if somebody 1,000 years from now finds it, might be able to understand it?
And that's just 1,000 years.
Yeah.
The pyramids were possibly built 20 to 30,000 years ago.
Right.
So how would they even with all the technology they have, be able to predict what language we were going to speak 30,000 years later. They couldn't. So they drew pictures, which is the best way to show somebody what they were doing. But again, they're pictures, so they're interpreted by somebody who saw the pictures. Anybody who tells you they can read hieroglyphs, I almost fucked up again, hieroglyphs, are just interpreting pictures that somebody else drew. You assume it's an eagle, but you don't know what they really meant.
Right, exactly.
Now, you know the Bent Pyramid, right? You've heard of the Bent Pyramid that's also in Egypt? They can never go into it because of the shape and structure and the fact that if you went into it, it could crumble and, it's thousands and thousands of years old. So now they have a new technology, which they shoot basically cosmic radiation into the inside of the pyramids. It bounces off a plate, and it's like X-raying the human body, but it X-rays the inside of the pyramid. Inside this pyramid, which they thought, would be like any other, no. There's one chamber that goes down, big chamber, and tons of chambers under this thing. Thousands and thousands of miles, there are tunnels that connect this pyramid with all the other ones. Again, no body, no sarcophagus, even though it's a tomb. That's what we've been taught. They're not tombs.
So you're saying there's, underneath this pyramid are tunnels.
Tunnels and huge chambers. They don't know what they're for. They can't see them. They can't go under them.
But these tunnels are
connected to the other pyramids.
Wow. And see, that's when Tesla. That was another thing about the Wardenclyffe Tower.
Mm-hmm.
Is he was actually tapping into the Earth's, the energy, the electric flow, the energy, the current, the flow of energy that flows actually through our Earth.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Not the actually through the Earth. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So he was not only using energy, he's using the Earth's energy to then shoot out wirelessly into the atmosphere, basically.
Now,
so that would make sense to all these tunnels. Like, what are these tunnels? Well, they're fucking something to do with electricity.
Well, not only that, if you have different power plants or different radio signals coming out of different places, and they all serve as a different power source, because you got to remember, Egypt was big, so you'd have to have more than one power plant, just like we do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Right? So, you think about this for a second. If there was a huge destruction on this earth, and let's put it that way, all of our power plants that are power plants now might be instantly turned into stone or lava or something else. But if people found them thousands and thousands of years later, they might just say they were temples.
Sure.
How would they know?
Well, and that's the crazy. That's the thing. That's why I think it's a real pivotal point right now where we're at in human history.
Mm-hmm.
Because if something were to happen, like if you look at the way our power's set up now, like the power generation plants, dude, it's just metal.
Mm-hmm.
It's just metal. If it becomes obsolete and we're not using it anymore, it's just going to corrode into nothing, right? Whoever the fuck built these pyramids, they understood that.
Well, this is
how can this stand the test of time? What we can't make it out of aluminum and metal. That's just going to corrode into nothing over a 1,000 years. We want to make something that lasts 1,000,000 years. What would you use? Well, you're looking at it. Granite, stone.
Now look, since the 1930s, we have known for a fact that Egyptians could use electroplating. You know what electroplating is, right?
Yeah.
It's where they take metal and they pass electricity. Well, no, they pass electricity through the metal and it bonds to wood and other objects. And Egyptians learned how to do this. Now, they thought it was done with simple chemical batteries back then. Which, first of all, let me explain. If the Egyptians back then, in the Old Kingdom, now we're talking about 5,000, 6,000, 7,000, possibly even farther back years ago, before AD. So this is 6,000 BC. They knew how to make chemical batteries, and we've known this since the 1930s. If they knew how to make chemical batteries, then why is it so far-fetched that they could make the pyramids giant batteries? But they've recently discovered the real source of the Egyptian electroplating. And they only found it recently through groundbreaking technology through them researching ancient Egyptians. They were able to use obsidian. That's a volcanic glass comprised mostly of silicon. It has natural occurring boron, and it constructs simple solar cells with copper wire. They were using solar energy to electroplate back then with obsidian glass, because obsidian is what we use nowadays. Now, ours are much more efficient, but obsidian glass used with copper wire produces solar electricity. And they were using solar electricity back then to electroplate. Now, if they could do that, why is it so hard to think they could make a giant pyramid battery? I mean, they were making solar panels. They were making fucking solar panels. Something we just came across. By the way, our technology just caught on to solar panels maybe 50 years ago.
How does a solar panel work? Do you know?
Well, okay, it takes silicone and it absorbs the sun's energy, and that sun's energy is absorbed in the silicone, turns into electrical energy, is passed through a copper wire into a salt battery, and the salt battery stores the energy.
Yeah, so like the Great Pyramid, like you said in part one, at one point was actually covered in limestone.
Mm-hmm.
So all day long, the sun beating down on this giant fucking limestone pyramid, right? So it's storing all of this energy and then distributing it out. And conceivably, it would probably stay lit up even though it was nighttime, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's probably lit up even though it's still nighttime, and it's probably distributing the power to a general region, big general regional area. You know what I mean? All around. Everybody's pulling energy from this fucking giant solar panel. No gas. No oil.
This is
right?
the funny
No
thing.
Emissions. No fucking climate, global fucking warming.
There was a Professor Kumar.
Just using the sun.
Professor Kumar's the one that figured this one out. Well, not her, one of her students, actually. They found obsidian glass, and they had found obsidian glass before, and they just thought it was Egyptian jewelry, that they were using it for jewelry. But these were much bigger and way too large for any kind of jewelry, and they were etched on the sides of them and inlaid with copper wiring. Copper wiring. The same wiring that you would find in a cell phone or a solar panel. So, on this breakthrough, anyways, as I was saying, Professor Kumar.
Is that Harold and Kumar?
Harold and Kumar. Yeah, they were going to White Castle. They stopped by the pyramids over there.
Sliders right now sounds good.
That does. God damn, I just had to say slider. There's not a White Castle anywhere near me. Fuckers. Anyways, back to the point. So Kumar here, from Harold and Kumar. Well, it's taking your students out there. So they found this obsidian glass with these copper pieces, wires inlaid in the sides of them. So one of the students thought if the larger obsidian shards had been inlaid with copper, it resembled the fine wiring on his solar panel that his family used to cope with the blackouts they have in Egypt. So they took a piece already in the collection with copper wires intact and discovered that when it was placed in the sunlight, it generated currents, small but measurable. This means that the old kingdom of Egypt had at least basic solar panels 4,500 years before the Common Age and over 600 years before the first use of the wheel that they know of.
Right.
Okay, And these are the pieces these guys have found. We don't know how big these panels were. If you take that small piece that produces a little bit of electricity, you take a huge piece of this glass or a bunch of huge pieces of this glass, you have renewable solar energy. Then on top of that, you have basically a salt battery pyramid. If you combine the two, guess what you have? Solar energy. What exactly we use today to power our homes.
It almost seems like that not only was there an advanced civilization, but that they were more in tune with the earth. So they're not using non-renewable resources. They're not burning fossil fuels like we are, right? They're not fucking chopping down trees and doing whatever the fuck we're doing. But so they're using solar energy for their electricity, and that they may be tapping into the earth for salt water.
They were pouring it in there because they don't know where it's coming from.
That's what I'm saying. Like, yeah.
So, but this is how solar energy works.
We're drilling down for oil. These motherfuckers are drilling down for water.
Well, see, you were asking me how solar energy works. This is how it works. We collect solar energy from the sun. It makes an electrical current and is stored in saltwater batteries in our homes, and the saltwater batteries run our homes. What were we talking about with the pyramids? Huge saltwater batteries. And we know that the Egyptians had solar energy technology. So if you take those two together, what does that sound like? Well, to me, just to me maybe, because, maybe I'm an unintelligent idiot, but if you have a solar panel, and they've proven now that Egyptians knew about solar panels and were making them, and then you have a pyramid of a huge size, which stores huge amounts of energy, just seems logical to me that they, at one time, had huge solar panels connected to, the big, gigantic pyramid that was storing all the damn energy.
So I guess, conceivably, the Great Pyramid is the main huge solar generator, basically.
No, it holds the power.
Right. It's holding the power. It's storing all the energy. But then it's
dissipating it out.
Okay, so let's say we got an area 100 miles radius. And you basically have a large, humongous fucking city, right?
Mm-hmm.
Just like we do today, with houses, businesses, everything.
Mm-hmm.
Could the Great Pyramid, do you think it will be able to store enough energy and transform enough energy out to light up all these homes and businesses?
If you had a battery that size, yeah. Not only would it light up the whole businesses, it could light up half the world. If those are small batteries, all of them, and each one of them are smaller batteries where the energy dissipates down from the Great Pyramid to the smaller pyramid then. And see, that's the other interesting thing. If you have one that's huge and the power goes down, what does that sound like to you? To me, that sounds like a grounding rod or a neutral or a way to dissipate the energy back to the earth so it doesn't overload the circuit.
Sure.
Which is exactly what we did.
That's Tesla. That's alternating current.
Yeah. And that's also what a transformer does. It drops the energy down so it doesn't blow up your fucking house.
Yeah.
That would be the same way as a smaller pyramid, and then an even smaller one, and a smaller one, and then the little tiny pyramid on the end, because they're dissipating the electricity down that they're not using. So it doesn't just retain in the cap of the pyramid and blow off the top of the pyramid.
Yeah.
Right. It totally makes sense. Yeah. All of this, when you put it all together, it's like a jigsaw puzzle that's already put together for you.
And like you were talking about the Bosnia pyramid.
I'm about to talk about Bosnia.
Okay, yeah. Because I was going to say, like, that would make sense. Like, you would only need what? You would only really need probably 5 or 6, maybe. Huge, like, actual big, great to light up the whole world. Like you said.
Here's the interesting thing about Bosnia. They found now, through carbon dating and modern technology, they were completely wrong about the Bosnia Pyramid.
Yeah, I know. I've seen some shit about that recently, yeah.
It's now been dated at 25,000 years old. 25,000 years old. AD has only been around for 2,022 years. So that means this pyramid is about 23,000 BC. Way before they said we had the technology to even think about building a pyramid. Way before supposedly the first civilization. Hell, at 23,000 BC, according to them, we're still Neanderthals at that point.
Mm-hmm.
We're still roaming around in caves.
And I would assume, and it would just be my opinion, that if the Bosnian pyramid is that old, that it would have been in operation at the same time as the Great Pyramids.
You would think, unless it was built first.
But
we don't know.
I'm saying it would make sense that they were connected.
Well, you would think, yeah.
Right.
But this is what they're saying. Two archaeologists, Dr. Riccardo Brett and Niccolo Bisconti, two Italian guys, they found pieces of organic material on the Bosnia Pyramid, and they were carbon dating the material.
Yeah, see, they can carbon date that because it's actually got vegetation and shit growing
Correct.
on it, where Pyramid and Giza don't.
Yeah, because of where Giza was.
Yeah.
So they carbon dated it 20,000 years before Sumeria and Babylon.
Yeah.
20,000 years before people said we had civilizations, they had a civilization in Mexico. And they can prove it. So that right there puts back everything. That has to eliminate everything you've been taught.
Exactly.
Because now you know civilization had to start at least 20,000 years before you said it was.
And see where I think the fucking divide happens, where I think that the mental programming happens, is I think we're talking about advanced civilization before a great cataclysm, a great flood.
Mm-hmm.
There was an advanced civilization, then this flood that is written about in every single culture, religion, book, text. They all talk about the flood.
Well, if you think about it, that makes sense too, because if you had an ice age and everything was frozen and then everything started to melt, what would you have? You would have a master flood. A flood that would flood the whole entire earth, and only very few would survive.
And there's evidence that there is an ice age.
Mm-hmm.
So that ended probably 12 to 13,000 years ago. The ice age ended. Well, that means then for thousands of years there was ice, right? So then that to me means that these advanced civilizations, these pre-flood civilizations, they wouldn't have built the civilizations on ice. They were built even then before the ice.
Mm-hmm.
Pushing them back, to probably 25,000 years ago.
Now, see, this pyramid was actually found in the European continent. And it was about 20 kilometers north of Sarajevo in the heart of Bosnia. So this pyramid sits right in the heart of Bosnia, and they found that...
And it's enormous. I think, is it bigger than the Great Pyramid?
It's bigger than the Great Pyramids. Not only that, they found an underground network of tunnels that run for over 10 miles underneath the ground of this thing.
See, all these pyramids have these tunnels, man.
And in those tunnels, they found ceramic, not stone, ceramic, like pottery, blocks that weigh 18,000 pounds. 18,000 pounds.
9 ton.
9 tons. Ceramic, man-made. blocks, right? Because ceramic doesn't occur naturally. 18,000.
They found them in these tunnels.
In these tunnels. So not only...
What were they for then?
They don't know. They don't. Well, what do we use ceramic for? Insulators. For electricity. It's the perfect insulator for electricity.
Yeah.
If you had a pyramid that big producing electricity, what would you have to have? Huge ceramic insulators to stop the electrical current to go through these tunnels. And if you were going to be in the tunnels, you wouldn't want electricity run through the damn tunnel. So you would put a ceramic insulator in it. Well, not only that, these tunnels are hundreds of miles under the ground. 18,000 pounds, and they somehow got them hundreds of miles under the pyramid and ran them for 10 miles under it.
Like, not even, like, besides mentioning the fact that they somehow get all this incredible shit down in these tunnels, how the fuck did they dig the tunnels?
Right. They dug the tunnels. Again, we're talking 20,000 years before the first known civilization.
Right.
20,000 years. At this point, they said we didn't even have tools to create blocks, much less, according to scientists, we're still out in the woods, killing animals and gathering random shit. We weren't even a society.
We just started making, like, Bronze Age type tools, like sharpening rocks and sticks and shit and using them as spears.
Right. We hadn't even done anything civilization-wise, according to scientists, and they find that this thing was built 20,000 years before that.
Yep. So, yeah.
And not only that, you have to have society, you have to have a civilization, you have to have a group of people to build something this large and to dig those tunnels. So there's no way just a bunch of hunter-gatherers got together and said, hey, let's build some tunnels in a pyramid. No, you had an intelligent group of people who did this.
You had to have somebody intelligent as fuck to design all the shit.
Mm-hmm.
And all these pyramids have all these tunnels that are down God knows how far and that extend God knows how long. You know what I'm saying? Like, holy shit. Who did the planning? And you don't just do the planning to do the planning. You're doing the planning knowing what tools you have to fucking execute the plan.
Here's another thing. All of these pyramids, it's interesting. When they find one, they find a lot. Next to this pyramid, they found smaller pyramids. Again, just like in Giza, just like everywhere else. Mm-hmm. Nicknamed the sun, the moon, the dragon, Mother Earth, and love. Mm-hmm. So they got this giant pyramid, and then you got a bunch of smaller pyramids in line with this pyramid, connected again by these tunnels. Just like the pyramids in Egypt, just like the pyramids in Iraq, just like the pyramids that they find on every single, in Mexico, every single continent has them except for North America. There are these one gigantic pyramid, then a bunch of little pyramids, all connected with these tunnels. You're telling me this was all random? That this was all done as a worship to gods or something? Get the fuck out of here with that nonsense. What you're saying is illogical as hell.
Right.
The only logical response to this was that they were all designed by somebody who knew what the fuck he or she was doing, or a race of people that knew what they were doing, and they all built the pyramids all over the world for a fucking reason.
And they're all built in a similar fashion, and they're all seem to
why are they all pyramids?
Seem to be running the same way. Right, with larger pyramids down to smaller pyramids. So that means that not only was there somebody that designed them, but they seem to have designed them all around the world. Well, that means that they were able to travel all around the world. I mean, see, basically what I think is, like I said, we're talking about advanced civilization thousands and thousands of years ago. There was a reset. Because there was a fucking cataclysm. And that's why people need to open their eyes to shit right now. That this shit is possible and it could happen. There was a fucking much more advanced civilization than we ever can even think about right now. That existed on this planet. Got wiped. Right? Mm-hmm. And the narrative and the story that we have been programmed into this 6,000 years ago was simply the reset.
Well, see,
simply the reset from that cataclysm.
A lot of problems with researching a lot of pyramids is you have to go through the government of that country. And Egypt doesn't like to let people in the pyramids because of grave robbing and different things that have happened over the years to destroy the pyramids. Bosnia pretty much said, yeah, go ahead.
Right.
And it was the biggest exploration ever done by multicultural people ever of a pyramid. Now, this is why Bosnia is more amazing than any pyramid complex in the world. And I'm going to tell you about the Bosnia pyramid. First of all, it's the very first pyramid ever discovered in European continent. Before then, they said, well, the pyramids were never discovered in Europe, so they couldn't have been all over the world by advanced race and this and that. Well, now they have. This site includes the biggest pyramidal structure in the world. The Bosnia Pyramid of the Sun, with its height, is over 220 meters high, which is much higher than Giza, which was only 147 meters.
How many
feet to meters?
Feet?
I don't know. You can look it up if you like.
212 meters.
220 meters.
220 meters. That's going to be at least 600 some feet.
Now look. The Bosnia Pyramid of the Sun is the most precise orientation to cosmic north of any pyramid ever known. It's exactly cosmic north. Exactly cosmic north. And this is, again, 20,000 years before Samaria. Okay. The Bosnia Pyramid of the Sun is completely covered in rectangular concrete blocks. Okay, go ahead. How big is it?
220 meters is 721 feet.
Jesus Christ! That's like you're talking the size of damn near the Sears Tower.
721.
Jesus Christ, buddy.
Wow.
But listen to this. The Bosnia Pyramid is completely covered by rectangular concrete blocks, and the properties of that concrete is such extreme hardness and such low water absorption that, according to scientists, it is far, far superior to any concrete we can produce now. Hold on. 20,000 years before the first known civilization, these motherfuckers knew how to make concrete that we cannot make today.
Right. And that goes right along with not just pyramids, but other sites around the world, like megalithic stones that literally look like they have been melted together. There's no mortar or anything, and you still, to this day, can't slide paper through them. I mean, we're talking about serious technology here.
First of all, this pyramid, now, I want to say something so everybody understands. This pyramid, we're not talking about it was carved out of a quarry of limestone. Do you understand? It wasn't carved out of a granite block like the pyramids in Giza. It was not made from just stones they found. It was made from concrete. That means it was man-made. They made the actual blocks that put this pyramid together.
They actually,
made the block.
They actually mixed the shit.
Mixed concrete that we make today. They learned how to do it way before this. Now
made it way better than we can.
And way better. Now here's something interesting. The pyramid is covered by a soil which, according to carbon dating, is over 12,000 years old. That's the outside. Now they found materials, living materials inside the pyramid that are carbon dated back to 32,000 years. There's materials that this pyramid was made out of that coat the walls on the inside of it that are even further older than what they thought. 32,000 years.
So back to the age of the Great Pyramid. When I said, so it's all based on Earth cycles and ice ages and possible cataclysms. So, like we said before, there was an advanced civilization. They were obviously already here, already advanced, doing all this shit before an ice age came.
Mm-hmm.
So, that's before there was the ice age, the melting of the ice age, which is thousands. So that's what Billy Carson, he said that he thinks the Great Pyramid was either 36,000 years or 72,000 years old. You know what I mean? Based on these 12,000 year cycles. You know what I'm saying? And so that, I just found it interesting because that kind of correlates with your 32,000 year number. 32,000 years, 36,000.
Here's something that'll blow your mind. In the underground structure, which again we said is over 10 miles between these pyramids, they found a bunch of not only ceramic blocks, but ceramic sculptures. Carved, made ceramic sculptures made by humans out of ceramic material that go in this underground labyrinth. And guess how much these weigh?
The sculptures?
20,000 pounds.
What are they sculptures of?
I don't know.
Like,
probably, like the same as in Egypt and stuff.
Well, I'm thinking Göbekli Tepe.
Yeah.
How those pillars have those things sculpted into them.
Mm-hmm. These are ceramic sculptures, though. Göbekli Tepe was stone sculptures.
So, yeah.
These are made sculptures that weigh 20,000 pounds.
They have to have some kind of mold.
They are the largest ever found in the world.
Yeah. Well, fuck yeah.
Hold on. There's more about this pyramid that you will just love. Perhaps most astounding is a total new source of solar energy that was discovered at the site. A team of physicists detected an energy beam from the sun coming through the top of the Bosnian Pyramid of the Sun. The radius of the beam is 4.5 meters around with a frequency of 28 kilohertz. The beam is continuous and its strength grows as it moves up and down and reflects off of the pyramid. This phenomena actually contradicts our own known physical laws of technology. This is the first proof of non-Heratizing technology on the planet. It seems that the pyramid builders created a perpetual solar power generator a long time ago as an energy machine that would bounce off of the pyramid and further produce electromagnetic energy. Further electromagnetic detection in 2011 confirmed the levels of negative radiation through Hartman, Curry, and Schneider grids are equal to 0 in the tunnels. So the tunnels have no radiation, no electromagnetic pulse. There was no technical radiation for power lines or technology found in the tunnels, and no cosmic radiation. The ceramic sculptures are positioned over the groundwater that flows through this thing, and the negative energy is then turned into positive energy. All of these experiments point to the underground labyrinth as the most secure underground constructions in the world, and this makes it an ideal place for the body to rejuvenate and regenerate. So not only have archaeologists and scientists discovered man-made structures that predate known civilization on the earth by at least 20,000 years, but they've also found a new source of energy that is currently beyond our known science. The Bosnian Pyramid of the Sun changes what we know about electricity and solar energy in very profound ways.
Something that struck me as interesting is we've kind of only been talking about energy being used, like how we would consider energy being used to like light our houses and light shit up. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And like you were talking about earlier, there being different frequencies and different radio waves that these things are able to transmit. you read something there that I just now thought about. Like, we haven't even been given thought to the fact that, yeah, maybe all this shit was being used as rejuvenation chambers for the human body itself.
Correct.
I mean, because when you look back at the Sumerian king list, and it talks about these kings that ruled for 36,000 years.
Look at the Bible; it says the same thing.
Methuselah, 969 years old.
Yes. What if they
Noah
figured out
was hundreds of years
right?
old.
What
Adam
if they
was
figured out how to
365 years
rejuvenate?
old.
Right. What if they figured out back then how to rejuvenate your human body?
People lived longer back then.
Well, not only that, it just says that the Bosnia
You
pyramid.
can do it right now.
Yeah. Well, no. What they said was the Bosnia pyramid produces an energy source that we can't replicate.
Right.
We can't do it. We do not have the technology to do what they could do 20,000 years before the first known civilization.
Right.
20,000 years before humans were making little stone cities, these guys figured out how to produce energy that we can't replicate.
Not only did they figure out how, I believe that they figured out how in a way that they knew. They knew about cycles of time, about cycles of energy. They not only built all this shit in a way that we can't replicate, they did it in a way that they knew that at this time, right now, we would start finding it and rediscovering it.
It seems, and this is the interesting thing that I've found when I was reading this, that I thought, what really seems to me is that this had to be a different race of people. It had to be a race of people that were here thousands of years before us and lived God knows how long and had this technology, because we're just catching up now.
So do you think it's an off-planet race?
No, I think it was on planet. I think they were destroyed.
You think that it just evolutionarily just developed?
Well, we're doing that now. It's just we haven't caught up because something reset us. Something killed this race and wiped out that technology. And what was left, that's why, isn't it funny? Like you said, the ancient kings lived all that time. Methuselah, Noah, the ancient king race. The ancient kings of Egypt lived 800-900 years. But the regular guys were still living normal lifespans. They didn't live that long. It doesn't say everybody. It just says some.
Right. But I don't. But then we're just assuming that too. You know what I'm saying?
Correct. But say that this race was here, and they only gave that knowledge to certain people because they were the rulers of the planet to rule the rest of us little monkey butts. Okay? And then somehow that technology got lost and we had to restart, and that's where you get civilization started 6,000 years ago, because that was the reset. That was the beginning of when we lost the knowledge we had before.
The reason I have a hard time thinking that everything just kind of Darwinianly evolutionized and we just popped into these conscious human beings is because when I look around at nature and how things are naturally, we are the only living thing that just fucking destroys the fucking planet, man. We look like we don't belong.
Correct.
So that's why I think that there has to be some kind of external influence on us.
I think we were made. I think we were created by another species.
Yeah, I think that we were genetically modified from what might have been
the race that originally was on this planet.
That was coming into evolution.
And I think that race...
And I think an off-planet external civilization came down and was like...
Oh, yeah.
Was like, they're close.
Yeah.
They're close. We can tweak them.
Well, it doesn't even have to be external. It doesn't have to be aliens or off-planet. It could be a race that existed on this planet that was just way more advanced than us. Think about it. This is what we do as humans.
Yeah, but the thing is, then that means, though, that still they would have had to just develop.
Well, we do, though.
Straight from the planet, just developed.
Right.
And came into being, and then
but if you think about it,
into consciousness. But my thing is, if we started here and we went through creation here and we went through this entire evolution for millions and billions of years to arrive here on this planet, why are we so destructive to it?
Well, because we're just destructive beings. But if you think about this, everything does evolve. That is
no,
true.
I agree.
Right. We think as human beings, and one of us came up with the idea to make a personal computer. That was Steve Jobs. There are these enlightened beings, Galileo, Newton, Copernicus, Steve Jobs, Elon Musk, that come up with these ideas, and Nikola Tesla, and they figure out through evolution how to invent new and better technology. So who says there wasn't a race here millions and millions of years before us?
Oh, yeah.
That had way surpassed our technology that we have now, but something happened to erase that technology, which happens all the time. It happened to the dinosaurs. It happened to, over and over on this planet, society has been erased and came back. So maybe we're just now relearning shit that was already known.
Yeah, absolutely.
We're just figuring out the same shit that societies past us have figured out for millions of years ago.
Yeah.
We're saying 20,000 years ago this pyramid was built. Maybe these people had been around 100,000 years before that.
Yeah, maybe they were an advanced civilization that got wiped out.
Right.
Maybe there was an advanced civilization before them that got wiped out.
Well,
and maybe one before them.
And see, this is where we get into.
Here's another thing too that I think about a lot. So that you got this advanced civilization, right?
Mm-hmm.
Pre-Ice Age, 25 to 40,000 years ago, let's say.
Mm-hmm.
There's about to be destruction.
Mm-hmm.
If these motherfuckers are advanced as we think they are, with all these goddamn pyramids that are batteries and fucking lighting up the world, they're going to know that there's going to be impending disaster coming.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Some of them are probably going to flee the planet. Some of them are going to build an ark.
Right.
And they're going to go where? We know they know how to fucking get underground.
And that's where we came from. Where does it say the first humans emerged from? Under the ground.
There's a lot of cultures that.
Yeah, and if you want to go
out of the earth,
and if you want to go back to the Bible, okay, it says that we were created in a garden, but it also says that Cain went out into the land of Nod, and had sex with the beings out there. So there was a separation. There was intelligent beings like Adam, Eve, Cain, and all them. And then there was us, who Cain went out into and produced humans, which are hybrids of two different races.
Yeah.
Isn't it interesting that when you look at every other animal on the planet, marsupials, elephants, gorillas, okay, monkeys, primates, is there only one species of primate? No. There's gorillas, there's baboons, there's capuchins, there's tons of species of cats, there's tons of species of dogs. Why are we the only species of human on this planet? Why? Because we're so special? No. Because there was other species like us. There was other humanoids. We've proven there was other humanoid species. There was Neanderthals. There was different species.
Well, look at humans now. There's a lot of different looking human beings.
Well, there was different actual species of humans.
Right. Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Right.
Yeah.
So who's to say there wasn't an intelligent species of humans that was much more intelligent than us?
Of course.
I mean, look at apes right now. Gorillas have been watching us, and they are evolving now to the point where they're making their own tools
Yeah.
to hunt
That's
fish.
crazy. That's true. And that's crazy.
Because their brains are
That's
evolving
crazy.
to the point that they're realizing what they are. Now, say something comes and destroys the human race. And the apes, who are already evolving mentally, evolve even further and kind of lose their hair,
Yeah.
come out of the caves. What are they going to do?
And see, that's another thing. That's another thing that I think kind of throws evolution off. Because if you're evolving to survive naturally on the earth, why would you lose your hair? Why would you lose your hair to turn around to kill animals to use their hair to cover yourself?
Well,
up?
it's possibly we never had that much hair. Or, again, why would you lose your hair? Maybe if you were, I don't know, underground where there's no sun and you didn't need the hair anymore.
Yeah, see, that's what I find interesting, right? So think about it in today's terms. If there was a fucking asteroid going to hit this goddamn Earth, we would know about it in advance.
Correct.
And so there's going to be a group of people
They go
that
underground.
decide to go underground, right? And they are going to have all of this technology and all of this information. Well, what if we can't fucking surface for 2,000 years?
Well, you couldn't, because you think when an asteroid hits this Earth, it's like a nuclear bomb. It's going to shoot radiation, dirt, debris, dust, all kinds of shit up into the atmosphere. The Earth's going to freeze. Any animals on the Earth are going to go into caves where it's safe, and all of those people are going to go underground. It's going to take thousands of years for that all to dissipate and it start to grow back. So when it grows back, you fast forwarded thousands and thousands of years. And this technology...
Now the people that are underground have been living there are coming up.
Well, also, you got to think
But the
about something.
same power structure that was in charge before the cataclysm went down into ground. They're the same power structure coming back up. And they're going to fucking make the rules to everything now that's
Correct.
going on.
But this is the other
Right.
thing you got to think about. Why would we take technology down there? We wouldn't. You know why? Because at that point, technology doesn't benefit us at all.
No, it doesn't. But we know in 2,000-3,000 years when we resurface, it will.
No.
And we will have it, and we will keep it secret. It will be occult knowledge, secret knowledge.
I tell you what they
ancient mystery.
I tell
knowledge.
you what would happen. They might take some technology down there.
Well, they wouldn't have even necessarily need the tech, just the plans.
Right.
If I
but
just have the
even
idea
if
for
they
it.
took the plans, after thousands of years, you got to think what this evolves into. It evolves, it evolves, it evolves. It's legend, then it evolves into mythology. The technology's discarded. The plans are put away because there's no reason to have them because we can't use them. So all the people who knew what a computer was are dead.
Yeah, but see,
They're dead. Now the next generation, it's not a computer anymore.
I know, but think.
They come out of the caves, it's not a computer anymore. It is a god. It is a device used by the gods.
Yeah.
And then you fast forward and you have Greek mythology.
Sure.
You have Egyptian mythology where the gods had the power of the sun and the gods had the power of this. And really what it probably was a light bulb or a computer.
Right.
But to them, it was the power of the gods.
But see, think. Before I went underground, how advanced was my civilization?
True.
Was I living for 30,000 years?
Yeah.
And when I went underground, do I still have that technology? Am I still living for 30,000 years?
No, because that technology is wiped.
Is it?
Slightly. The destruction of the earth would destroy that technology with it.
Would it?
I mean, unless you could bring it down there.
Because I find it interesting in the Bible when it says there were giants
Oh, yeah.
in
The earth.
It doesn't say on
No, it says in the earth.
in those days.
Yep.
And so...
And they lived in a land of giants.
Let's assume, because Thoth in the Emerald Tablets talks about going to the underground chambers, the halls of Amenti, where he 100 times 10, 1,000 times he's went down there, transferred consciousness into another human avatar.
Well, see, this brings us actually to where I want to go.
I mean, we could be talking about so far down in the earth that fucking nothing that happens up here matters.
Right.
So, these giants in the earth, think if they're living 30,000 years, right? So 2,000 fucking years underground don't mean shit to them. But like you said, there's a population of people now whose lifespan has been reduced.
Right,
because they're underground and they're not able to live as long. So now they're only living 50, 60, 70 years. But the kings, the gods, they're still in charge.
Right.
And they're still living. So they can put together a fucking plan. And if it takes 5,000 years to execute the plan, what the fuck does it matter?
Right. Well, that's where it comes to the point in the Bible where it says 1,000 years to God is nothing is a day to man. Same thing. If you have technology that will regenerate you and you can live eternally, then 1,000 years is a blink of an eye. It's nothing to you. It means nothing.
Right.
10,000 years would mean nothing. See, and this is, well...
yeah, and time's relative anyway.
Well, this has been episode 54, and we are going to finish this up in the next part. And the next part is going to be about the race that I believe did rule this planet, and about the Emerald Tablets. And we're going to get into that in episode 55. So, again, if you haven't listened to episode 53, please go back, listen to that one. And then listen to this one. And then episode 55 will be the end of all of this. So I appreciate you guys listening. And we're going to get into some wild stuff in the next one. Some stuff that's actually happening right now.
So come back, y'all.
Yeah, come on back. And we'll see you next time.
Later.